Welcome to Metals Investor Forum. My name is Brian Leni. I'm the editor of Junior Stock Review. Today with me, I have John Miniotis, CEO of AbraSilver, the presenting company and a part of the portfolio in my personal portfolio. John, thanks for coming to the show with me. Let's start with an overview of AbraSilver.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks very much for inviting me back, Brian. It's always a pleasure to be with you here. In terms of ABRA, look, we've undergone quite a rapid transformation here over the last several years. So, of course, our key project is Diablillos, large silver and gold project. We have over 250 million ounces silver equivalent, and that resource is actually expected to grow. Later this year, we'll be announcing another updated resource estimate. So we're just completing our phase 4 drill program now. Our exploration team down in Argentina has really been, very, very successful. Has done an excellent job for us growing this over the past several years now. We're wrapping up this phase 4 drill program. This is near surface, open pitable and oxides. And so Diablillos is expected to continue to grow through the drill bit. Importantly, in December, we announced an updated pre-feasibility study, showed very, very robust economics. At current spot prices, the net present value here is over $2 billion Canadian, over 40% after-tax rate of return, with a very, very quick payback period, importantly as well. So less than 1.5 year payback at current price levels. Yeah. So this is a project that really advanced significantly over the last several years, and now is really in a very important stage where we see 12 months away from now, we'll have a definitive feasibility study, and we'll have the EIA permits approved as well. So some very, very important milestones leading up to a construction decision later next year.
Excellent. And let's talk about those technical studies. Last year was quite interesting for Argentina as a nation. Milei takes control of the country, sends it on the right path after kind of 20 years of messing around, and he's made a huge difference, especially to the mining companies that fall in this window of opportunity, which you guys do. You updated your PFS. Why did you update it? What difference has Milei made?
Yeah, so one of the key value drivers in the pre-feasibility study, which really helped further bolster the economics, is the new RIGI incentive regime in Argentina. And so this is legislation that President Milei passed in July of 2024. And it states for any new projects across all industries in Argentina, if you're investing over $200 million in the near future, you get significant tax deductions. There's no more export duties. So he's waiving export duties, which are currently very high. Right now, you're paying 8% export duties for gold, 4.5% for silver. Those go down to zero. And he's eliminated all the FX restrictions as well, which have really sort of been a major hurdle for investments in Argentina for the last several decades. And so he's offering this big economic incentive. But the key is you have to meet the RIGI timeline. And so you have to apply by July of next year, which we're going to do. And then once you apply and you're approved, you have 2 years to spend a minimum of 40% of your capital costs. And for us, we're just extremely fortunate that fit perfectly within our existing timeline. And so we were always going to have the feasibility study coming out early next year. The permits have already been submitted. The EIA permit process is well underway. We expect that later this year, in fact. So for us, meeting that, 2028, you have to spend minimum of 40% of your CapEx, just solidifies a timeline that we already had, and saying we're sticking to this timeline. There's no opportunity here to delay things. And so it really hyper-focused us to make sure that we achieve, obviously, getting the permits on time, completing the feasibility study, applying for RIGI. All of those will happen within the next 12 months here. So a lot of important upcoming milestones. And then that sets us to have a construction decision in later 2026. And then we still have some leeway, as we'll have until 2028 to spend a minimum of 40% of the CapEx.
That's excellent. And as an investor, all eyes are now on Argentina, not only because of the other discoveries that happen within the country, but also what you're talking about in terms of the economics, particularly in your situation where we've seen two strategics take sizable positions now in two straight placements. Can you talk about those strategics and what it means to have investors of that ilk join the company?
Sure. Yeah, so we just successfully completed almost a $60 million financing. So there was parallel financings there. So on the private placement side, it was our existing strategic investors. So Kinross maintained their 4% interest. And then Central Puerto, which is the largest utility company in the country, publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange, a blue chip, well-known company within Argentina, they actually elected to increase their percentage level. And so they became our largest investor, going from 4% previously up to 9.9% now. And so they wrote us over $25 million check to do that. We're very, very fortunate to have the ongoing support from our strategic investors. And then in parallel, we had a bought deal private placement, which went extremely well as well. Well oversubscribed. The trading price has been well above the deal price ever since we announced the deal. So there's been ongoing buying, I'd say, from some of those funds, increasing their percentage levels. We're very, very pleased to have those strategic investors and our new institutional investors supporting us. And that gives us the comfort of being more than fully funded for the next 2 years. So all those important milestones that we talked about, the feasibility study, the EIA, the RIGI approvals, ongoing drilling, we have we can do all of that and still have a significant buffer, 18 months from now. So we're in a very, very fortunate position, I'd say, financially, and importantly, that financing was done without any warrants at a very, very small discount. So I think it was very favorable even for all our existing investors as well.
Yeah, it's excellent. A great deal, and a great deal from a number of perspectives. As an investor, you should be looking for companies that have these sort of sticky investors involved, and having a utilities company that's local to the Argentine community, making that big of an investment, I think just speaks to where you guys are absolutely headed. We started the conversation off about the possibility of expanding the resource at Oculto, and you also have some porphyry exploration. First, talk about Oculto. What are you going to look at in terms of expanding? And then let's talk about the porphyry.
Sure. So on the exploration side, there's still lots going on. So typically, as you know, for exploration companies, as you get to the feasibility study stage, typically, the common theme is exploration tends to die off as you go into the study phase and ultimately construction. Thankfully for us, that's not the case. So our exploration budget might be going up here, even though we're going ahead with the feasibility study. So we've now essentially completed our phase 4 drill program. We drilled 20,000 meters. That was mostly focused around Oculto and Jack and some of these other satellite areas. And then that's going to get incorporated into an updated resource estimate that we'll announce in mid-2025. So that's important. Lots more news flow coming out from those drill holes that are already at the lab. But we're going to immediately phase into the phase 5 exploration program. And so we're finalizing those details now. Will be announced shortly, but it's going to be another major drilling campaign for us, focused again around Oculto and Jack, extending the high-grade zones, high-grade gold and silver mineralization that we've identified there. So there's more drilling to be done. And then importantly, 3.5 kilometers away, this new Cerro Viejo target seems very, very promising. We drilled one hole into that as part of the phase 4 program. That came back with over 30 meters of almost 2 grams per ton of gold from 87 meters below surface. So exceptional initial hole there. Clearly requires additional following up. So I know the guys at site have been busy. They've been mapping and taking surface samples, et cetera. But it's looking extremely promising. So I think that's an area a brand new area that we've never drilled in the past. It's going to get quite a bit of attention over the coming year.
Oh, it's excellent stuff. And it seems like these world-class, amazing deposits just to keep on giving. Yes. And in Oculto's case, it has. I've been an investor for, I think it's close to 7 years now. And that has definitely been the case. As you've heard, AbraSilver stands out from all the rest in my view, in terms, especially if you want to look at silver companies. I highly suggest that you check him out and check John out. He's a great leader in the space and someone that I've been invested in for a long time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.